IoT Unplugged, where we talk to industry leaders, innovators, and major players in the Internet of Things, bringing you the best and latest insights. Tune in to learn more.
Welcome back to IoT Unplugged. I'm Lucy Barnard, editor of IoT Insider. Today, we're here to talk about how systems integrators and engineering firms use scalable IoT platforms to manage multiple clients and IoT projects. And I'm joined here today by representatives from Rafal, an electrical engineering company based in Iceland, and Akenza, an IoT platform based in Switzerland, to find out how the partnership between the two has enabled them to overcome some of Iceland's environmental challenges to deploy smart solutions. So could you both start by introducing yourselves and give us, for our listeners, just give us your names and job descriptions. Shall we start with Valentin?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Valentin. I'm a IoT solution engineer at Akenza. I have a background as an electrical engineer, and I'm working at the interface between our cloud product and customer projects, making sure the integration works well and solving all kinds of issues and problems that pop up on that interface.
Fantastic.
And my name is Hrafn Guðbrandsson. I'm a leader of data-driven solution at Rafal. So I've been working in the tech industry for over 20 years, and we've been working in the IoT sector for the last 6 to 5 years, and are working on various projects here in Iceland.
Fantastic. And can I start by asking Valentin, in simple terms, what does Akenza actually do?
Okay, so this podcast is about Internet of Things, IoT. So it has the two words Internet and Things in it. And we're basically the glue between these two terms, bringing things into the Internet. And we do that by providing connectivity solutions and prepare all the data coming from devices, so they're like ready to be connected to the system where they're actually used in the end.
And how does Akenza actually do that? How does it make it easier for integrators to launch and scale IoT projects?
It makes it easy by providing a low-code solution. So basically a solution which you can click together with your mouse, a solution, choose a connection technology. We have various of them, so we're like agnostic to different protocols and different languages these things are speaking that we're trying to connect. And we do that in a point-and-click fashion, so you can basically choose from a framework the parts you want to use to connect your device, and then how you want your data to look like and where you want the data to be sent. And you don't need a lot of coding experience to do that. So it's very low-level entry platform, but yet very powerful because we're abstracting a lot of things to make it easy. But at the same time, you can still drill down and do fancy stuff with the platform.
Okay, so what kind of business impact have you seen for your integration partners like Rafal?
So a business impact, the biggest business impact we usually see is speed. When getting IoT projects on the road, speed is a crucial factor to be able to mount a pilot project as quickly as possible, to get also results as quickly as possible. And then after a pilot project is successful, the scaling up of a project is done in the very same way as the pilot itself, so there's no re-engineering in between. So it's again speed and also saving in terms of man hours that don't need to be invested, development hours that don't need to be invested to get like the final solution up to speed.
Okay, and you said there were lots of different options with your low-code solution. What sort of options are we talking about?
We have, for example, options to connect to LoRaWAN networks. We're plugging directly into the networks themselves, managing all the devices on this network from our end, technically and also commercially. So our users are able to use commercial networks as a per device basis. No need to have a contract with a service provider. We do that contractual stuff already, so it's easy to deploy from one device to 1,000 devices over a specific carrier, or you can plug in your own network And most importantly, you can mix technologies. So it's not limited to LoRaWAN. We can use MyOT, we can use Co-op, we can use other cellular technologies, MQTT endpoints for industrial applications, and to be able to mix all these and operate them in parallel. And yeah, we abstract these technologies so much that actually when you have an inventory of your things, the technology is already invisible at that point.
But doesn't that mean you get a lot of option anxiety? You've got lots of different, but how do you know which one to do? How do you make it simple for users to actually use?
It's simple because you can implement it with a single mouse click. And of course, one needs to decide on the best technology to be used. That's also what Rob's role here is. And my role is as solution engineers, we're trying to find like the best fit for a project. And once that decision is taken, it's basically one click with your mouse and the technology can be used right away. And let's focus on the real application then.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, Hrafn, could you tell us why you decided to partner with Akenza?
Well, when we were moving out of these POC phases in the project and moving to real large-scale project, we needed a flexible and reliable solution to provide to our customers. And Akenza fitted the profile perfectly with their correct ISO certification that we needed because we are monitoring quite crucial infrastructure here in Iceland. And the flexibility of the platform also gave us the opportunity to connect it to the existing systems that the customers were using. So it has been an incredible game changer to our customers and to our project here, trying to really utilize the IoT to these existing and really crucial projects.
Could you tell us a bit about, you say they're crucial infrastructure. What crucial infrastructure are you monitoring?
Well, one of the crucial infrastructure that we are monitoring is the geothermal distribution pipeline and the distribution system for Reykjavik Energy. So we are monitoring the water pressure from the source and to the end users of the system. So this was a part of the system that they didn't really have any data on. They have a calculated graph of how the system should be, but we are delivering reliable data of the reality of the system. It started small, but now they are scaling even up. So this is now created a standard for how they approach these projects like this over here.
And what did you find out? What was the result of it?
Well, the result of it they have seen some surprises in the data. They had lower pressures on areas that they thought they had more and less, and by opposite on other places. Also, what has been really new for them is the opportunity of, it's like taking out the curtains of the system. They were able suddenly to see information on areas that had no infrastructure at all, no electrical infrastructure or communication infrastructure. So it really was a game changer for Reykjavik Energy to have this data.
And what have you been able to do with the data?
Oh, they are putting it into their using Akenza. They are feeding it directly into their own GIS system and also into their calculation module to verify all the data. And so they will, if they can make predictions and also for preventing maintenance and also just if they need to using the data to utilize balancing the correct pressure of all the data of all the system.
Fantastic. And I mean, it sounds you make it sound very simple, but it sounds like that must be quite a challenging environment to deploy IoT. Could you talk a bit about the challenges?
Yeah. I mean, the challenge. Well, so like I mentioned, so in many of these areas, because especially on the pipeline, because it's in a really rural area. There's nobody. It's in the mountains. So now, because of winter time, you can't even drive there because it's inaccessible. So no electricity and very minimal cellular communication. So we are deploying, we have a LoRaWAN network covering the most of the southwest part of Iceland. So and the pressures are monitored with pressure sensors connected to batteries. And while using the LoRaWAN network, we can have a low power communication so that it can, self-sufficient the whole winter. And then we have solar panels, so we don't need to go there at all. So everything is remotely monitored at the location.
Wow. And what about, obviously it's very remote, but is the pressure a problem as well? Do you have to have special sensors?
Well, yeah, the pressure can be. We have a special sensors that can handle the heat is up to 100 degrees of centigrade and the pressure up to 25 bars. But surprisingly or not, you can use almost these typical pressure sensors and 4 to 20 milliamp monitors even in these extreme conditions. So sometimes simple solution can really help in these large-scale projects and big problems.
Wow. Yes, I suppose so. And were there any problems with actually deploying it? What did you learn when you were installing them?
I mean, like always, the weather is a factor here in Iceland that you always have to consider. So it can change quite quickly. So for installation on these remote areas, summertime is the key. Is the best time, but even then you can have you can have all kinds of conditions.
Yes, I can imagine. Extreme heat, extreme cold must be quite difficult. And also playing into that, I suppose you've got all sorts of environmental problems and the geothermic problems, but also pressure to stick to environmental rules and regulations. So are there any sustainability initiatives in Iceland where IoT is playing a big role?
Yeah, I mean, this is really a sustainability project because, it's the geothermal distributed heating is a really crucial for all the heating in Iceland. So in Iceland, we are really unique that most of our energy, almost all of our energy is renewable. So our electricity is hydropower and geothermal power, and the distribution heating is so we don't need any electricity for warming our houses. So if you're using the distribution geothermal heating, then you're not using then you can utilize the electricity for something other than heating. There's a huge initiative in growing these kind of projects all over the country because this is a resource that we need to be careful of and really need to make sure that it's working. And of course, in other projects also, most of the projects are connected with these sustainable solutions. So it's most of it comes from that initiative. So for trying to minimize the usage of energy and monitoring energy and even if in all the projects in the smart utility, smart city, smart building, everything have the same goal to minimize the resources that we're using for everything.
I suppose so. And of course, with communications as well, it must be very difficult. We all remember the volcano last year was a big news story over here as well. And I suppose, is the adoption of LPWAN technologies in Iceland, is that also, important?
Well, at least for us at Rafal and for our customers. So we are deploying more and more LoRaWAN gateways. So we are expanding the network quite dramatically. So we aim to have a nationwide coverage at one point, even though here in Iceland, the majority of the population is here on this southwest corner, and also the most volcanic activity as well, so, if that matters. But it's for sure, and it's the monitoring is only going to grow, and the use of LPWAN is only going to grow here.
Great. So yeah, what's next for Akenza and Rafal?
I think it's about to grow and to harden the projects already in place. So we see it quite often in IoT. We start with a pilot, and then we scale up, and then we absolutely need to make sure that the quality of the system we put in place can sustain for many more years to come. So it's not about just building something and forgetting about it, but it's like we're putting a lot of efforts together with Rafal as well to harden this product we're building. So it gets a little bit on the boring side of IoT because it's a lot of maintenance and it's a lot of stability issues. But once that network is up, it needs to be maintained. It needs to be bulletproof. Our solution with these customers, it needs to be bulletproof. It's a critical infrastructure, so it's really crucial to make it stable and reliable, and to ensure like long-term relationships with the customers on site, because everybody of us has invested a lot of time and money as well into these projects. So we have a big interest in keeping these running for a long time.
It doesn't sound boring at all. That sounds like something that, if it doesn't work, is really crucial. So I suppose my question is, if another integrator's listening right now and thinking about starting their IoT journey, what advice would you give to them?
Well, I think one of the mistakes that most people in the IoT business do is think from the technology first and not from the problem second. So what we have learned, that it's really, really, really important that the customer and the integrators think about what problem are you solving. Why are you monitoring? Don't just put up a sensor or a device just to put up a sensor to the device. You really know the reason why are you monitoring this particular device or a reason. So think from the perspective, what problem are you solving? Then that's the greatest success that you can get in the IoT.
And Valentin, do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I have an addition to this. So yes, I totally agree. Thinking from the problem to the solution, and then work back to the technology. And we're from the technology side. We try to be as standardized as possible on the technology side. It's a good thing. Repeatability is a good thing in IoT. So you would not want to have, like, for every solution, for every problem you solve, like a different custom-built solution. So that's why we try to harmonize these different IoT projects or problems into like their common denominators, that we can see, okay, what has to be solved for all of these IoT problems first, and do that in the most standardized way possible. And this again brings you like speed and stability, and you don't have to maintain a lot of different solutions in the end. So that's in my opinion the key to growth, to standardize it, to able to scale up. Then you can copy paste, then you can multiply solutions, and take a solution in one for one problem and take it over to a second problem, and only slightly adapt it on the integration part. For example, as Rob pointed out, we connected to that utility company's database to feed them the IoT data directly into their system. So that should be the goal, to add as little as possible and only as much as needed.
And can you future-proof that? Are you ready for whatever the next stage of technology could be?
Yes, we are. So it's very feature proof, and also we're working on a lot of new system integrations, especially in the field of databases, which are then be used for AI applications. So that's big thing going on. We're structuring our data under the hood to be ready for these kind of future applications.
Wonderful. Well, thank you ever so much for talking to me. And I think we've all learned quite a lot today. And thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
IoT Unplugged.